So, yeah, I guess like I've just been, again, like with the signs thing. There's like this inner calling that I just know is going on. I don't have to. I know not everyone's gonna believe that, but I think that any of God's chosen has an individual calling, um, and that could be to many different things. But I just feel like the way everything has been leading, for example, when I first got saved, I had this understanding that somehow I was going to use music, and I also had an understanding that I think I could go somewhere even in this world, and yeah, and that just seems to be getting more and more confirmed lately. Like it's like increasing way more than before. And so I had I tried keyboard for a bit, and I started to struggle when I got to like using both hands at the same time, so I kind of like gave up on that. But I can do that a little bit if I put my mind to it. But I just keep having dreams and stuff about guitar. Like I was like I would went up into the sky, and it was like pick an instrument, and I was like, well, I tried like picked the main ones for like a band or whatever, and once guitar hit, it was like, yeah, that's the one, you have to go with that. So I went with that, and I had three dreams all based on like guitar, and this would be after I would like basically give up and try to walk away from it. So like every time I try to walk away, it's like, no, do this. You're going to do this. I'm going to help you do this. It's not going to be just based on your own efforts and stuff. I am with you, and this will happen. So I'm like, okay. So I had another dream recently, and it was there was like a cloud, and it said musician, renew, and Gibson. And so I went with that. I was like, okay, a Gibson guitar, and come to find out they're very expensive guitars. Well, I kind of knew that already. My dad mentioned that. He's more like a Fender guy, Stratocaster guy. So I'm just like, okay. Well, I started looking around, and I basically end up with this one that was literally my favorite color, which is like cyan or teal. It's like a pretty blue. And I talked to the guy, and he was showing me it and stuff, and like he had his own little shop and stuff in the basement of his house, and it was really cool. He showed me like this Japanese guitar in Japanese, and it's lots of things revolving around that, like between anime and like everything else. I got the guitar, but before that, I told him like about my testimony and stuff, and he like mentioned how he has like a bunch of family that are born again Christians, and he asked me if I was one of those. It's funny, they say one of those, and it's like, well, any true Christian would be born again, but I think that people know that the born again Christians are different. There's something different about them. They live it, they don't just say it, they live it. And so like he knew that there was something different about me when I told him like these signs and dreams, because like even before I got the guitar, I prayed, because there was a couple days and I was deciding, well, is this really from God? And I'm praying and stuff, and as soon as I basically prayed, well, is this the guitar you want me to get? And then I looked to the left basically, and there was a car with the same underlights of the same colored guitar. So I'm like, okay, I'll take that as a sign to get this guitar then. And again, I get like holes in my head too, so there's indications besides that for what I'm supposed to do. And I do those things. A lot of people don't know what I'm talking about when I say that. It's kind of like a praying in the spirit thing. Like, it's not always like this is for sure the correct thing, but it's like it's a leading. Like, I'm leading you here for some reason, and it's not always like a black and white answer. Sometimes it's just me kind of thinking things out too. It's like a mixture. It's hard to explain, but I just have this inner sense and this inner understanding of this. And in the Bible Changes community, there's someone there who she's kind of talked to me, and like she says, not everyone who is like famous sells their soul. And I kind of believe that. I think that people do it by like default, like this, in the sense that they just serve money rather than God. They don't actually like do the full ritual and all that. I think some people do. A lot of people do. Paramore, all those. I love Paramore, but you could see the symbolism and stuff. They did something. That girl. She actually like had one of her songs featured on Nickelodeon, and so it's not impossible for a true believer to make a name for themselves in this world. It's just like, where is your heart? And like, her heart is very different. Like, she says, she'll make music, but it's not praise music. But she does have some hints towards that. If you look at some of the songs, there's definitely some hints towards that. But again, at least one of the song titles. But she's like, well, I don't feel right making money from making music praising God. She says that feels wrong, so I just make like secular music. To me, that kind of makes sense. I understand her thinking about that. Like, she just doesn't want to use God, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. So I just like have this like, and she also said that she knew like Channing Tatum growing up, like they went to the same school or something, and yeah, so she said like she saw the whole like transition from like him to getting famous and stuff, and she doesn't believe like he's like a Satanist or anything, but I don't know. But basically, like, I think there's something's gonna come of this eventually. Especially, if God keeps pushing me to do this, I'll get better and be able to do more than like a few chords or whatever. I think I can kind of sing. I think that it would be great to have like a female vocalist who could really sing. If I could get somewhere with music out, because I really do love female vocalists. But I think I could probably sing a bit, or at least be like a background vocal, something like that. But I think I could probably sing within my range. And guitar, I could do that. I can definitely write lyrics. That is a fact. I can definitely do that. I just haven't put it all together with like learning the music and then learning how to write the music with lyrics. That seems complicated to me, but I believe that something will come of it, because I just have this inner understanding that even in this world, I'll be either famous or infamous to some extent. And I don't know how you define famous or infamous. Like, technically, like 5,000 subscribers, like Wake Up or Else is like famous within a small community. But I don't know. I think that like with all this stuff, with my testimony and what's going to happen, I just believe that something's going to happen. This is going to blow up, at least on some level. It's going to reach who it needs to reach. Yeah, I don't know. have this understanding, and I believe, and I believe that he's gonna push me to do what I, on my own, I cannot do. Like I'm telling you, I give up. Like I've tried and I give up consistently. Like, you know, I'd just rather play World of Warcraft. I don't want to learn guitar. But then I have another dream, and he's like, nope, it's time to learn. And I'm like, okay. So that's kind of where I'm at. And also, like, I've been getting more and more signs about Florida. I mentioned, like, to my manager about, oh, you know, I'm thinking of maybe moving, you know, and he's like, well, hopefully you're moving down south where it's like warmer, and you know, if it were me, I'd go to Florida, where you're dealing with like a hurricane once every other year or something, so I didn't have to live here. I don't know why I live here. That's what he was saying. It's like, well, it's funny he mentioned it's the same place. And again, there was more than just that too. Like every show I'm watching, anime is talking about the ocean and stuff, even when it's like a show based not really in an area that would be by an ocean, but they just feature that episode the day I watch it, and it's just very, very odd. I pay attention to signs because I know that God has called me through signs, and people will say, well, not everything's a sign, and I understand that, but sometimes things are given an emphasis. And when things are like consistently pointing you in the same direction, and I'm just paying attention. Just paying attention. I just think that something's gonna come of this. I'm excited. My new guitar sounds great. Hoping to learn. Really get at it. Been getting random videos too about like Drake Bell, for example. You know, the guy from Drake and Josh, like how like he made like the theme song for the show, and he was 15 when he made the theme song for the show. He started guitar when he was 12, so you know, within a few years, it is possible to make a song that could go somewhere. And no, he already had that reach because he was doing that stuff for a long time, but you can make something that can be perceived as, oh, that's good work within 3 years, probably. And again, the same person who had their show featured on Nickelodeon, she says some of the best songs only have 3 chords. It's just like 3 chords and your heart poured out to the world, and it's like, oh yeah. Well, I can do the 3 chords, I guess. But yeah, I think I'd want to do more like rock type music, but I guess we'll see what happens. I also wouldn't mind using like a sort of like voice alteration thing, because like I'm into nightcores and stuff, so like if I can't hit those high notes, then I could alter the song to make myself hit those higher notes, and I think that might be cool. Or release like a normal version and then nightcore it, so you could see, oh well, this is what it would sound like sped up, because I like nightcores, so I think they're pretty sweet. But I might be in a minority there, but some people like it. Yeah. And then I could be like, hey, is there like any AMV makers who would want to like use this song, and like, I don't know, just like do partnerships and stuff. This is all just like down the line thinking. I don't know. I don't even know music enough. I have to, like, this is gonna be years most likely down the road, but I'm just like, my mind is kind of going there. Yeah. Pay attention to God's calling on your life. What is He asking you to do? What is He pushing you to do? What is He encouraging you to do? He's going to do it. And yeah, it's not like it has to be this whole stressful thing. No, He's going to make it happen. He's going to encourage you for it to happen. It's not going to be like, oh, I have to push myself harder than everyone else. I think it's just going to happen. That's what I believe. Anyways, God bless you all. Happy Sunday.